Yeah, how you doing, everybody? It's still February the 1st, Monday, 2010. It's just after tea time. It's around about 8 o'clock, I think. What time is it? Yeah, it's coming up to 8 o'clock. And I just wanted to sort of do a follow-up from that little previous snip I did. I just want to say I respond very badly to veiled threats, so I'm sure that man's watching it, so just to let you know, I don't respond very well to it. So if you want to say something to me, I prefer if you come out and say it to me directly, because you don't know my background, but my background's a funny background, and as I say, I respond very badly to sort of stuff like that. So just, if you got something to say to me, I prefer you say it direct, and then I know where we are, okay? But this business of giving me advice, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm too long in the tooth for that stuff. Anyway, I put a photograph of a man up here for you to have a look at. Alright, I'm going to put it up now. Yeah, that's a man. His name is Peter Sutherland. Okay, now before I start this little thing, I'm going to start it this way and then I'm going to end it this way, just to clarify the matter. First of all, the man is ill. He has had throat cancer, probably still has it, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. He says that anyway, he got very ill last year, and in I think it was August or September, and he had a lot of treatment and had an operation and various things. Okay, so he says he's a lot better now. So I wish him the very best from a human point of view. I wish him every success from a human point of view. Don't wish ill on anybody. I hope, Mr. Sutherland, you recover entirely, alright, and spend lots of time with your family and your wife and all that. He's a Dublin man. And the reason I raise it is, this is the most powerful Irish man in the world, by far. This man puts Brian Kern and all those politicos in Halfpenny Place. He put them in his back pocket. Alright? And this is for a considerable amount of time. He's been like this for the last 10, 15, almost 20 years. No, maybe not 20 years, but certainly for the last 10 or 15 years. This man has played a pivotal role in world politics and world economics. This man. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a bio out of him. I'm going to read a little biography. And I've put a link up to the Irish Times. This article is part of an Irish Times article I'm going to read here. Right? Now, this doesn't cover half of what this man is about, but it'll give you an insight into this man. Okay, I'll start reading this reasonably quickly. Okay, because I've got to do all the things here. Right. At the end of this, I want to ask him a series of questions. Okay. It says he was born in April 1946, so that makes him 64. Okay. 60. Yeah, 64, 60, yeah, 64, 65. And he's married with 3 children, and he went to Gonzaga, that's a Jesuit college, isn't it, Dublin, and King's Inns. And then he practiced at the bar for 12 years, from 69 to 81. And then he ran unsuccessfully for Fine Gael, so he's a Fine Gaeler in 1973. And then he was the Attorney General from 1981 to 1984 under Gareth Fitzgerald's government. And then he became an EU Commissioner from 85 to 89. Then he was Chairman of Allied Irish Banks from 89 to 93. And then he became the Director General of GATT, that's one of the World Trade Organizations. And he later headed up the actual World Trade Organization itself, okay? And what else? Now, last August, September, when he got ill, he had been the Chairman, I think and I'm nearly sure it's the Executive Chairman, he's been doing that for about 14 or 15 years. The 5th biggest company in the world, and it's BP. Alright. Now, last year the accounts were 128 billion they turned over. Okay, and I think they made a profit of something like 30 billion or something, some colossal amount of money. But in their heyday, they have turned over 250, a quarter of a trillion, 250 billion in a year. So can you imagine the power that is? He's more power than our Taoiseach, more power than Cavan has, more economic power, okay, than a whole cabinet has. Anyway, it says here he's a board member of the World Economic Forum, and that's going on at the moment in Davos in Switzerland. So he's on the steering, the executive committee of that, okay? He's a board member. And sorry, I jumped a bit here. It said he recently stood down as chairman of the UK oil company BP, okay, I told you he got ill. but he is still the chairman of Goldman Sachs International. We all know who Goldman Sachs are, okay? They're the big banksters on Wall Street. They have an international investment arm, and this man's a chairman of it, okay? This is a major man, this man, okay? Anyway. And he's also a non-executive director of Royal Bank of Scotland, okay? Now, one of the things that he holds down is, I don't think he likes to blow his trumpet on this, but he's also one of 7 men, and they're on the steering committee of the Bilderbergers. So he is a major Bilderberg. He is a permanent member of the Bilderberg group, okay? And we all know what they get up to. These are the elite, the super secret elite people who have massive power and influence, especially on a European sphere, all right? And in America, he's chairman of the Trilateral Commission, and he's also chairman of the European Round Table of Industrialists. So this is no cookie cucaracha. This is a main man. This is a major world player. Now, as I say, hasn't been well, and the Irish Times went up and they interviewed him there on Saturday, a big long article, and I put the link up and how we read it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to ask him 5 questions. Okay, because he's coming off with some heavy duty stuff in this article about Ireland and about its future and about its role in the world and about Goldman Sachs and about all this. So I want to ask him 5 questions. Alright, Mr. Sutherland, how are you doing? I hope you're well, and I hope you get better. I know you've been ill. I hope you get better, and I hope you spend plenty of time, because I'm sure you have plenty of money to do it with your 3 children and your wife and your family. Okay? First thing I want to ask you is, do you pay your tax in Ireland? Are you tax compliant? No, that's the wrong. You're tax compliant, I'm sure, even if you're a tax exile. That's not what I'm asking you. Do you pay your personal income tax into our country? Do you make any contribution, in other words, to our little country through the income tax? Okay. Number 1. As Goldman, the chairman of Goldman Sachs, how much did you receive in bonuses over the last 3 years? You're chairman of Goldman Sachs International. This year, Goldman Sachs in New York are handing out 16 billion to its leading brokers and executives throughout the world. 16 billion, not million, billion, 16,000 million. Okay? How much did you receive over the last 3 years from Goldman Sachs International? Alright? The other thing I want to ask you is, do your colleagues at Goldman Sachs refer to you as Sir Peter? Because you have an honorary knighthood. Alright? Now, that's the 3rd question. The 4th question is, which Taoiseach granted you permission to accept that knighthood? Because all Irish citizens have to get special permission to be given any titles. And it has to, for a title like that, you have to have, I don't know whether it's written permission, but you sir, I think it is. I think you have to have written permission from the Taoiseach of the day. So I'm asking you that question. Which Taoiseach granted you permission to accept the knighthood from Elizabeth Saxe-Coburg? Alright. And the final question, which you probably wouldn't want to answer, but it's the talk out on the street. Is it true that you are retained in a private capacity as an economic stroke political advisor to the UK government? That's all. Those are the 5 questions. And then, when they're answered, we'll know what hymn sheet you're singing off. Alright? So, have a look at this man. Have a look at this man. These are the sort of men that rule the world.